Sounds good. Thank you.
I think we can record. I can record the phone. Good. So maybe we can start our session today. So today we have with us Mohamed Elamir. He is
Elamir.
Elamir. Okay, not Elamir. Yeah, Elamir. He is co-founding of a company or startup called Woamy, correct? And this company or this startup is working on bioplastic, if I remember correctly. And I think it's a very nice story for several things. First of all, his startup contribute to environment, and this is one of our goals. As you see, he's young. He's not old businessman. He's young businessman. So this is a very good message for us that it's not too late for of us. I think all of us here are young. So I think this is a time or like motivation for us to start. So I would like to give you floor, Muhammad, just to introduce you by a proper way, and then after that, we'll engage with some discussion and the question with you. Please go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Professor Tamer, for introducing me. And I'm very pleased to meet you all. And thanks, Lota, for also facilitating this introduction. Yeah, maybe just I can just do a brief introduction of myself, or should I go ahead to the slides?
No, please introduce yourself because it's not only the scientific content of the startup, but it's personal content as well. So please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Definitely. Hi everyone. So my name is Mohamed Elamir. I am a co-founder of Woamy, and my background, basically, I've done my bachelor's in Egypt in chemistry. My specialty there was petrochemical engineering, and so I studied there basically everything that, or mostly most of the things that goes into the petrochemical industry, especially the plastic fruit materials. And then since I lived across the Red Sea, Egypt, I lived in a city called Suez. I have been activist before the university and during the university with different organizations, and we organize cleanup beaches, and I've seen how bad it is, the pollution, how bad it is, these materials, but also seeing the opportunity that like in the new materials world that you can really kind of use science and come up with alternatives. And for that, I decided to pursue the next of my career to work on that. And it worked out well since I joined AMIS program from EIT. I was exposed to different, to like a large material before studying like the material science. And then basically I got also, I started in France, in Grenoble, and then I did my last year in Finland, in Aalto University, where I also got the chance to study more into the business side, to the entrepreneurship and innovation management. And then I joined Aalto University for my as a research assistant, and I found there a opportunity to do my master's thesis. So I've done my master's thesis working with this material that I'm going to introduce to you, and then participating in found the company Woamy as a spin-off from Aalto University. So yeah, I'm a young founder, as Tamer just said, and but I'm really learning a lot along the way, and there's so many things that also are happening in the startup world that are connected to the research, the universities, and I'm very excited to meet every one of you and learn, exchange with you guys. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So will you share with us a slide or so about your startup and?
Definitely, yeah. I was waiting for that, and so can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah, make it bigger so that. All right. Yeah. So I just had like the first slides. Oops. Well, okay. So this is the wrong one. Oh, sorry, I have so many presentations and pitch versions here. Yeah.
Now we see that. Thank you, Mohammed.
This is the first slide. So Mohammed, this is my name there, right? Is it correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So I can proceed. Yeah. So basically, this was my introduction. And as I said, I studied chemistry in the beginning, and my basically I have been volunteering in different organizations. So Sustainable Ocean Alliance, that was the first organization that I joined, and it's basically in 2018 I got appointed yeah, in Norway to be an ocean young leader. And I participated in a ocean the Ocean Conference 2018 with the attend of the General Secretary of the UN. And it was really interesting part. And also, my second engagement or activist is with We Make Change organization, where I was there as president of We Make Change in Egypt. So I just expanded the organization in Egypt, and basically the goal there is that to find or to see all the skilled engineers who has like skills of different engineering skills or other skills that are videography or programming that can support or help startups or social enterprises in the growth in the beginning. And then I got the chance to study AMIS. AMIS stands for Advanced Materials for Innovation and Sustainability. So the program is combined of two sides. One side is the material science aspect, and for that I had my fair to study at Grenoble EMP in France. And upon finishing my first year there, I have had a really nice opportunity to have an internship, and I choose to have an internship with a startup actually. So I was in the beginning then working with a startup with two founders. Only the startup is like basically one room that they have rented, and there's two founders there. The only people in the startup. It's really in the beginning, and it was just me and another students there. And the startup basically their goal was to build a recyclable first version of recyclable skis, combining different natural fibers, metrics, and to be compared in a durability with the fiberglass or the carbon fiber that is usually the skis are made of, which is also environmentally abusive and causes a lot of problem, has bigger carbon footprints. So we managed to make prototypes, as you see in the picture, and these are the first two prototypes that we made, and we tested them during the summer in the glacier, and that was a really nice experience. I learned how it's done from the kitchen, how the startup is actually working. And then the next year, the second year of AMIS, I joined the Aalto University. And in Aalto University, there was more wide, broad courses. There's elective courses that you get to choose from to study what you want. And I focused more on the courses that are related to entrepreneurship, especially the part where you can learn innovation management. And I've joined also a course called Elamir, where you can learn how to commercialize and research. And that part was really essential for me. I want to learn the process, how a research can be valuable from the university and can be turned into a company. And that since there's so many research in this world that haven't seen the light yet, and then there's a need to push these innovations to the market. And my engagement with EIT raw material also was something that I was really interested in, since the EIT community is big and there's so many there's access to a lot of professors from different universities and expertise, entrepreneurs, and also big companies. So from the beginning, I joined the label student board. I participated in organizing the first label startup day that was online version because it was during COVID, and we managed to gather over 10 startups there to bring them online to kind of bring their case to the students, and the students can engage and work with them. And then we also have had a place where you can do exchange with online exchange conversations similar to the networking and matchmaking, but like in a live version using software called Hopin, and that was a success. And then after graduation, I managed to kind of continue joining these events, working with the IT community. So I joined the Label Startup Day last year, 2023, and I brought the case of Woamy there. So all of that was really a lot of a lot of experience and a lot of things that put me put me in a very good position where I have so many knowledge. I have also so many access to different things in Aalto University uh, and access to the research where I was working at. So then I met these guys where they were in the same research group. The research group is called Homewood, and before then the research group hasn't had success making or building steps for the next stage, which is a spin-off. And we basically have built their first garage machine to demonstrate an industrial scale of this material. We also built a business model case and a gradual business model, and we presented our pitch slides, and then that gave us also kind of the uh, opened the way from Aalto University for us to spin off. And basically, we have spin off in June 2022, and since then we started our mission to fundraise and scale our innovation. But coming back to what is it that I am sharing with you right now. So as you know, the world has is suffering. We always talk about the pollution problem. We always say that like you might have heard this sentence that says that if nothing changed by 2050, there will be more plastics than fish in the sea. Um, and so, but if we look into closer to this problem to see what is the number one suspect, what is the major contributor of this pollution, we would see that it is plastic foams. Plastic foams are the dust, the emissions that comes out of it is very extensive and abusive to the environment. There's about 5.1 billion tons of CO2 that is out every year. That number was specifically last year, 2022. And from the whole plastic industry, from the whole plastic foams that are produced, only 1% of it gets recycled. Only 1% of it gets recycled. And so that leaves us with a lot of waste. And if you look at like by volume, all the plastic debris that are in the ocean, you'll find that 90% of these debris are styrofoam. So we have here something that causes a lot of these floating islands of trash, and it's also very, very difficult to handle and to recycle because of its nature. It gets disintegrated into small microplastic pieces, and it's hard to collect and recycle this material. And the problem even gets bigger since now the EU is banning this single-use plastics, and one of them is going to be styrofoam. So even companies and brands are looking for alternatives. So that opens an opportunity even. And then comes our solution that I have that I will present to you. And I have here one cube of Woamy. Beautiful picture here. So basically, this is our alternative to the styrofoam. And except that this is fully bio-based, it doesn't have plastic. It's biodegradable, means that what I mean biodegradable, that it's completely biodegrades instantly when it touches the water, and so it's also recyclable with cardboard. And there's no toxic chemicals used to it. We use food grade cellulose, and so even though if you could eat it and that would cause any problem, And so the best part is that we did like the first life cycle analysis, and the carbon footprint that comes out of it is very low, even lower than cardboard production. We use little raw material to make it, and the rest is air. And so there's 250 times less carbon footprint than carbon emissions than polystyrene. And this is, in brief, how the process goes. So we basically use fibers from the forest industry, such as pulp or kraft pulp. We also can use agricultural waste or industrial fiber waste, or recycled cardboard, which is something that gives us ease into selecting what is the raw material that we can use there. We could use also any other fiber, any other natural fiber that is, but for the sake of ease and availability, we use currently the kraft pulp and recycled pulp. And with a wet to dry extrusion process, this is the unique thing that we use to produce our foams. Most of the biofoams that are currently there, they use molds, but we use a wet to dry continuous extrusion that basically gets dried, and so it's scalable. And each sheet we can use it then to make our blocks, which you can see in this picture. And so the main product that we make is the Woamy biofoam board, which is in this picture right there. And so basically these can come in different shapes or sizes. It can be like this one, which is soft direction, which you can compress. You can compress like this, or this one, which is incompressible. So this is the good thing about the main property about it, because of the grains of it. It mimics the cellular structure of wood, and it makes it soft in one direction and strong in the other direction. So it allows us to kind of design the material how we like to, how best we would to fit the product and to give it the maximum protection. With that, we also have developed new products coming out of it, such as these flexible foam sheet that can replace the PU foam rolls or the PU foam layers. That is anti-scratch kind of property, or we can heat press mold it into shapes like for corner protection, like in this example, or like pipe protection, like in this. And all of these were demonstrated with actual customers, actual companies and brands that are currently developing. We are developing with them a piloting phase where we can have a full production later as we scale. With all these properties that I just mentioned, being bio-based, being non-toxic, and also being recyclable with cardboard, that give us or enable that this material give an actual fully circular life cycle, coming from the distribution until the end of life cycle, and that ensures that the brands will get the quality, the material that they want without compromising or getting sustainability over quality. And this is our main goal, that we want to have everyone to be able to use this material, to use it with very high quality, and that you don't compromise anything, and also accessible and affordable. Looking regarding the market in brief, so the market there is growing daily, especially if we talk about the global sustainable packaging market. But the market that we are entering, which is our focus market, is the packaging foam market, which is worth of 70 billion. And we choose to have this focus in the packaging market as a specialty in protected packaging, look into the properties of biodegradability. It has insulation properties. It can be used as like cushioning, but all these needs to be developed for the future, especially the water biodegradability needs to be developed with a coating, or maybe additives to add like a fire retardant, so that it can be used as an insulation. And for that, this is a future market that we can go to once we scale up and have the volumes or develop more properties. But the market that we are entering is the global packaging foam market. And our business model works in three different ways. So it's a gradual business model. We start with B2B foam sales. So when we start, we really want to just show the potential of this material. It's a new material. It's a new thing. And we have to show that there is traction coming from the market to buy it. So for that, we started working with end product customers, such as like luxury brands, consumer products companies, and we have these in the beginning phase. And then they refer us to also packaging companies or packaging converters that we work with. So packaging converters or packaging companies, they allow us to have a partnership where we can produce the material in bulk, and then they process it and bring it back to the end product customer. And the goal eventually, after we scale up to prove the traction, is we license the technology. And why do we want to license it? Because so it would give us like a faster expansion globally, and it would allow everyone to be able to produce this material locally, and reduce any carbon footprint that will be like that will be coming from the transportations or logistics, and basically to have lower unit economics, and so that it become affordable and scalable, even competitive in pricing this time. Which brings me to this slide. So, which the question that I always get asked. Now you have this amazing innovation technology. How much it costs? It probably costs a lot. Well, in the beginning, yes, it costs a lot right now to make it, but then gradually, as we scale up, most of the cost that goes into it is from labor or from processing techniques that we are still developing, and we still test and prove our quality. So that also we don't produce full time. So that's why it is expensive right now, as we are in the pre-commercial phase. But as we grow, we can even reach a very, very competitive price, even with the plastic foams. This is an example of the companies that we work with, an example of like how we basically have like classified them into what can serve our purpose for what period of time in our growth. And we have built relationships with all of them, and with each one we try as much as we can to push new proof of concept or new piloting it, so that we can go to the next stage, which is the production. And yeah, our customer base is growing daily, and so it holds a future also. It gives us future potential traction for anyone who comes and take a look at the companies that it has a potential to grow in the future. Yeah, if we look at the competition, if you look at the other biofoams in the market, you'll find out that they are missing two main properties. One is the price wise, which is what I just mentioned, and that is related to the process that you use to make the foam. So making the foam, most of them has used this mold techniques that takes time to actually dry, and that uses a lot of energy. And also it makes it difficult to grow and to be like in a big scale. And the second quality is, I would say, the strength per density issue, which is most of them also because of the molding. The foam can be fragile in both directions, and it doesn't have like what we have. So it doesn't have this like being lightweight and being strong at the same time is a very important property, especially if you want to go into the packaging. And some other also properties that we have and other materials that have, such as the scratch and dust free. And all of these we learn more when we work with our first customers, right? So that's the goal. We kind of give them a sample, and they check it with the other biofoams that they have, with the other options that they have of the packaging, and then they come back to us with feedback. From that, we knew that other biofoams, for example, has more dust that can flow apart, but ours don't have it. So it's a good thing that actually differentiates us from the competition. And yeah, this is basically our first kind of demonstration that we have done with a student group here in Aalto University, and with also this glass manufacturer called Milli Glass in Finland, and they made this type of glasses, and we have demonstrated this packaging. And same, our customers basically when they actually see for the first time, when they touch it, they be like, this is like legit. It feels like styrofoam, looks like it, but I cannot believe that it is non-toxic or biodegradable. So it's basically mostly feedback, which is I'm happy with. And yeah, this is just maybe kind of overview on our scale. And so um, when we started, we had in the university with the first garage machine that we had produced a bit less than 1 cubic meter per day, and that was very tiny scale for us. And but for that, we have started in the beginning to actually look for customers and look for someone who is potentially want to buy, which is something that we have to do before we spin off to see if there's traction in the market. And so we got in touch with this company called Secto Design in Finland that they make a lamp designs, a luxury lamp designs. And so they want to replace their packaging. One piece there was as plastic. Uh, it was made out of plastic foam. So they just want to, that's the only piece that has plastic in their packaging that we replace it with our foam. And this is the scale that they have. Um, and and so we then, like, after 1 year of spinning off, and we have raised a seed round of 1 million that we closed in January, and we built our first scalable pilot machine uh, that produces 10 cubic meters per day. So this is the scale that we are at right now, and the next stage is to go to 40 cubic meters per day, and that through a pilot factory. And the goal is to also increase our TRL number and reach that scale that is more can fit for electronic customers, which order more big volumes. And from that, we can go into 100 cubic meters per day, which then this is the scale that is a standard that will allow us to actually enter or penetrate the market and go for licensing. And yeah, this is the same what I said, but in more in different design. And yeah, as I mentioned, we closed our seed round in January, and Sector Design, the first customer that we have worked with, they decided to invest. So they saw the potential of it. They saw that this can be in the future a big project and also beneficial for the company. So they invested in our company, and we have had a lead investor called CMPC, which is one of the largest pulp manufacturers. And then they also joined the company because that we use the pulp as raw material. So they are supporting us with the raw material and also technical support and help, since our material is kind of close more to the pulp and paper industry. Look into the features of the material and how what it made of. So it's really helpful to have them. Yeah, and basically as we grow, we have after the seed round, we have increased our production, as I mentioned. We have advanced our finances, and we are kind of increasing more of our revenue during this phase. And we have secured our patents in PR and IPR, and expanded our reach globally, and basically grew up a team. So we now have like 16 people working with us. And the next phase is the build a scalable pilot factory, which will require us to raise a round of 5 million, and that we are in the process at the moment. So we have runway by mid-August, and hopefully we'll be able to close this round before that. Yeah, this is maybe some overview of the team of founders. So Susanna Partanen is our CEO. She has a really creative business mind, and she worked with her background is mostly in furniture design, and she worked with companies, and she was also like an entrepreneur. She has experience running companies, and Levi is our CTO. He's a physicist, and he has done his PhD in stone. And he's the best one who knows about all the properties and all the science behind it. Lucy is our COO designer, and she has experience in industrial design, and she's a packaging designer already. So she really knows the best thing about like how this can work in packaging. And also we have Juha Koivisto, which is the inventor and the leader of the research group in the beginning, and he's now currently a CSO, and he's a point of contact between us and the university. And also like he has been in another successful exit before, and he has a long history working with the university and spin-offs. So yeah, like we both were, all of us were based in university. We came out from there, and now we work closely with the university. And this shows how potentially it is to actually be involved in a research. Um, yeah, I don't think, I think I've covered mostly everything. So thank you for your time and bearing me through this, and I'm ready to receive any questions that you have.
Thanks a
Also,
lot,
feel free
Mohammed.
to connect with me. This is my QR to LinkedIn, so I'm happy to connect with any.
Thanks a lot, Mohammed, for this very interesting short presentation for us. I don't know, Lotta, would you like to lead from this point, or what? What do you think?
Thank you. I would like to open the floor for questions if you have for Mohamed on his kind of journey to be one of the founders of Woamy. So I would open the floor to the audience, please.
I'm happy to sort of ask the first question. I've got quite a few. Thank you very much for your presentation. It's really interesting and a really cool journey you've been on. I think my first question would be, given that your, I suppose, background was in petrochemical engineering, science, etc. In your current role, what's the split between more commercial activities and scientific research?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you, Rory, for the question. Yeah, so for my background, as I mentioned, is more of the science, the chemical engineering part and material science part, but also through AMIS, through EIT, I have studied courses that are related to entrepreneurship and innovation management. So it was startup experience. That was the course that I've had from AVP, Alto Ventures program here in Alto, which is a state of a program that kind of teaches you steps by step what are the process that goes into if you want to start a company from the beginning until you raise your first round, and then you have MVP and all that progress as you scale. And also joined, I have had other courses related to commercialization. One of them was the Elamir, which I think it also exists in Norway. I'm not sure which university it is, but it was also more extensive course that focused on commercializing a research. And for that, I got exposed more to the practices that goes through commercializing a research, starting from building the traction, making your first pitch deck, making first like business model, and how to get your MVP, and from that also how to work maybe closely on the IPR, and how to file the patents and get the IPR from the university to the company, and yeah, and most importantly, you have to keep develop your IP profile, because that's something that will always happen as you grow. Me personally, my preference when we did this, when you had this conversation with everyone and we were discussing roles and everything, I really like, my thing that I see myself shine the most is to build relationships and kind of be in the frontier of the of sales and yeah, and commercialization. So that means like taking this innovation and going to potential customers and potential also investors, and sharing them both the science part of it and also the potentially market value. And that mostly what I was very interested at. And so my background kind of helps me in both ways. I also did my thesis in more in the technical part, which is improving the qualities, improving the properties of the biofoam, and demonstrating a industrial process. So that even was my thesis, technical part. But then the commercial part or the business part was mostly interested for me personally as an entrepreneur, as a co-founder of the company. So yeah, it works out both ways. And I can say in general that founders, especially if start having a startup, your background in the beginning is irrelevant. It really comes down to what can you do at the moment and how you distribute your jobs between all the other founders. So yeah, I wouldn't take any of that as a limitation of what I can do.
Really. I have follow-ups, but Mohamed, do you want to jump in?
Sorry, I can't hear the last part.
I know, I was just saying I have. I think what as a quick follow-up to that, I'd be interested to know what the actual team building process was like, how you guys came together and found each other and decided to go about doing.
Yeah, thanks. That's a really good question. So me, Louisa, Juha, um, and Levi, the four of us, we were in the same research group, and this is where we met. And so each of us were working on something different back then. Susanna, she was working on a different project, a side project that was called the PDP, Product Development Program, and she was a project manager that led team of students. She was doing her master's back then, and she led a team of students to actually build the first garage machine. And so we meet once in a while. Me and the others in the research group, we meet kind of every day. Um, and yeah, and then we had so many meetings, like so many meetings in the beginning to actually see what is our background, how it can help the company, and what is the expectations that we see ourselves in the next phases. And that these meetings itself were, to me, that was a very important part. Um, and and once we actually have agreed on the team that would be doing that, then we had other meetings where we actually do some team building activity that are fun in order to kind of get familiar with each other. I would say that the diversity of our team is a key of making this possible. Each one of us is good at something, is very good at something, and for that, like founding a company, especially that is deep tech, helps that if you have big number of founders, like 5 founders is a big number if you look into other startups. But then it helps that if each one can take a field and that they can shine at the most, and all of us combined work can turn out to be a lot, and we can progress much faster. So we just had to be more aligned on our expectations of how the process would go, and also make it better for our meetings, for our weekly meetings, so that it can also be more productive. And yeah, once we figure out that, I think it worked out pretty well.
You have a follow-up, Rory, for your excellent questions. So, Tamer, do you have a question? Would you like to?
Actually, I have two, but maybe I can start with one, and
Yes,
then if there is no one else, I can ask the second one. You are from Egypt, from developing countries that suffer a lot of economic problem, and you young master students, why you decide to take this risky path? Because I know, startup, 10% of the startup just succeed and 90% fail. Why you didn't go to a secure path like do PhD, try to go to academia, or find a job in manufacture or something like? Why you decide to go here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this is simply because most of our colleagues here are in the same age, more or less. So just you can reflect about your decision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good question. I also have had this question a lot. I would say that I have my experience. Like I worked, well, not for a long time, but I worked in a corporate before, and I've seen how bad it can be, and how difficult it can be. Also, it's good if you want to have a secure job that is safe. Of course, that's a great option. PhD is also a great thing, and I would encourage anyone to do it if they are willing go through the PhD process and work in science, and that also, all of that is really interesting. But for me, interesting, I was mostly interested myself to found a company, and working with having an internship with startups before, seeing how startups work also from the inside got me really excited. So working in the startup can give you a lot, give you a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge in a very short time. The amount of progress that you see is very quick, and you can literally see how the progress goes, like in a few days or a few months, or in 1 year. You can see how far things are progressing. So I like that path. I am more of a risk taker, and I like to get out of the comfort zone. I don't really feel good when I'm in a comfort place or a comfort position. So that helped a little bit. And also, since my goal, or kind of my thing, is that I would go into the entrepreneurship path, working closely with biomaterials and sustainable materials, and that for me was worked out very well with Woamy. I really didn't plan for all of this. I didn't have a master plan that this would be how it ends eventually, but I just trusted the process. I did what I can do of learnings and having knowledge and getting to be exposed to everyone and build relationships, so that whenever the opportunity is there, then I'm ready to jump in. So yeah, I would do it again, even though if I come at the end and find out that Woamy got bankrupted, or then we didn't do anything, or the company loses, I would also go again and start founding a company. So yeah.
Thank you, Mohamed. If I may ask, I have 2 questions as well, unless Tamer, you want to ask yours first.
No, please go ahead, Zot, please.
So what gives you the energy? Like you said that you would do all over again. So where do you get the internal motivation to do this?
Yeah, thanks for that question. Well, it's the same thing that you ask yourself, what gets me up in the morning? what makes me go to the same job every day? So for me, it's beyond that. Like it's how I have been since before even doing my bachelor's, or while even when I was volunteer and activist. I've been like always looking at this and seeing like these problems, especially the pollution problem. Like it's always there. There's always like big corporates that can develop something, they can do something about it, but nobody does anything. And so the only way for you to actually change this is to actually start from the beginning, and to have a startup. Startups are the key to changing the world. Basically, they come with a disruptive technology or disruptive solution, and then they basically change everything as they grow. The corporates and the big companies don't change anything. They have a system that they have built, and they stick with it for years because they know that this is the system that will bring us money. And so that is what I really feel like, that this is the energy that wants to give me. If I have an opportunity or a chance to do this better, and to bring more hope, and also to kind of have an example where research and science can also be that can contribute to solving Earth's problems, then I would do it. So what really pushes me there is that the vision that I want to see in the future, where this technology is there, or these materials are there, other also visions are there, and I was one of them. So I that's the thing that pushes me to do what I'm doing every day. Yeah.
Fantastic, thank you. It also makes me feel a bit better that, and having a bit more hope for this world when hearing your answer. So thank you very much. And my last question would be related then, that Woamy was partly started with aldo-based research, if I understood correctly. How does it show in your everyday business still that you kind of are, or what is your connection still to Aalto University?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a good relationship with the university. So the university was really helpful in the beginning when we had a team and they are coming from the research as well. So we had the first problem is to where is going to be our location, because if we spin out, we have to leave the campus facility and all the amazing research facilities that are there in the labs. We have to leave them and move to somewhere else. And so the university have helped us to find a place here in Otanimi in the campus. So we have rented a garage where we have basically the first couple months of like having this place, we uh, have divided the garage with a wall in between that we built ourselves with a used windows that we found throwing away. So we just reuse them and build the wall with that, and then we separate it to office space and workshop space where we have our machines. So um, that was really good to start with. So yeah, we started as a garage startup. Now we are growing with that. Well, and also the second part of the most like help that we get there is the connection to the labs and facilities. So we still have connections to the labs and facilities, and we can use them. And we have also connections to an amazing place near to us, which is the Design Factory. It also has like many tools and many also machinery for that we can use in our building process, and also access to the students that are there. So from that also after we moved there, uh, we have hired two students that are doing their master thesis with us, and they just finished their master thesis recently, and they have really did a lot of contribution in developing our process. Uh, so we also have students coming and going, doing internships. That also helps. They learn from the process, and we learn from their input as well. Um, and yeah, and this kind of beneficial thing comes in two ways with us and Aalto University. So I'm glad that it's still going. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Mohamed. Tamer, so I took over for your question, so now I give the floor to you. Sorry, sorry.
No problem. Before I ask if anyone else would like to ask any question for Mohammed. Okay, okay, maybe I can tell mine. You start from garage, right?
Mhm.
And I think the last slide shows that you already start to get some investment. So you succeed to get some investor with you.
Mhm.
And along this way, you started, I think, middle 2022. So 2 years
Yeah.
ago, one
Mhm.
year, 1 year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And then now you reach the stage to get investor. But at the same time, you didn't produce, or did you produce a product to the market or not yet?
Yeah, so we are producing the products that I just showed, the biofoam blocks, and also the other pieces, the units that we make. So we either sell the blocks ready and then the companies process it, or we process the foam ourselves and sell the units, the packaging units as it is. But now all of our production is done piloting or proof of concept. So because all of it is a production, low scale production, we produce about like 10 cubic meters a day now. And before that, we produced like 1 cubic meters a day. So it's still not big looking at the volume that we need to have in the full market, but we sell. So
My question is because most of the colleagues here are in the stage of garage, so most of them are in the garage stage. So what is the advice that you can give it to us when we approach or they approach to investors?
mhm.
Should they go with a product? Should they go with an idea?
Mhm.
And what's about if someone afraid from stealing his idea? So if
Mhm.
I have an idea, but I'm afraid if I go to Muhammad, for example, he will steal my idea. So
Mhm.
do you think you can give us some reflection here, what we should do in order
Yeah.
to get investor in?
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely share our experience and my experience personally with this. So we started raising our first round, reaching to the investors before we spin off, and that was something that the university have recommended us to do, and it's also recommended for anyone who is spinning off from a research that you need to show the university or the facility the traction that you have in this company, the future potential. And so finding your first customer and finding your first investor is a very important step. So that's one thing. So approaching your first investor is another thing. So if you want to approach an investor, then it depends first of all what is the field that you want to raise money at, and what is the stage that you want, and how much money that you would like to have. Once you figure out all of this, based on, of course, all of your building your business model, building your kind of traction, and also uh, uh, building your scale plan, which is very important. And while building your scale plan, you need to have a good plan to actually make a lot of money. So, because that is usually what, or that's always what investors would want to see how much am I going to have of my return 10x or 5x, and in what period of time. So you have to really be aligned with the investor expectations, and that by research. You basically do a very good research in the beginning, which is, I really recommend that. I've had my trials that I go to investors and without doing enough research, and then they ask me something that could be embarrassing in the meeting, and then I learn from that. And the next time I really do my homework before talking to the investor. The numbers that you show, you really have to show numbers, but the numbers that you show there, you really have to know where they come from, how they are there, and is that number relevant for the investor to know about? Because when you share a lot of numbers, a lot of things, then things get out of place. So you really need to be sure what is the numbers that are potential revenue, or like sales projection. How would you make these numbers accurate as much as possible? And yeah, if you're afraid, like I wouldn't be too afraid or too scared of sharing my innovation if I know how I can speak about it enough that I wouldn't leave too much details for someone to know everything. And basically, this is something that I just learned. Like, yeah, of course, most researchers and most who have good innovations, they are scared of like talking about it because they're scared someone else might steal their IPR. But you have to also always be cautious about it. So sharing an NDA is something that is highly recommended, and sharing MTA if you're sending materials, and that's very important in the process. Then you'll be more comfortable to talk about it, about like your technology. And once you are at the stage where you already have filed your patent, then you don't have to worry about it because it's already there. But we always also, when we talk to bigger companies or bigger corporates, we always share an NDA first, before we go through any details. And you also have to ask the question: Is your question related to details of the innovation? Is this really important? If you really have to know this, then okay, I can go through this with you with an NDA. But if this is something that is not necessary and you can go around it and explain it better and simpler and avoid the hassle of writing an NDA, which can delay a lot of conversation, then that's highly recommended. So really see what you really want to share and what not. And yeah, but finally, if you have already matched up with your investor and you're ready to do your first pitch, be bold. Talk as much as you can that your solution is important. Don't talk too much about the problem because that's what I learned. Like, just focus more on what the solution brings and what is the opportunities and the potential in the markets are. That if the investor look at it and they see your pitch deck, like you have to say to yourself, like they would be crazy if they say no to this. Yeah. So just be bold and trust yourself, trust what you say, and trust your numbers. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the last advice, because over the last 3 weeks in our program, we was focusing on the problem, and all the time we are telling our colleagues here, when you start thinking about your startup, think from the problem that you are solving, which is correct. But when you are speaking and pitching to an investor and you start to sell your idea, you have to sell to them money. So actually you need to present them, okay, this is a problem, maybe in one slide, but the rest of the presentation should be what is the benefit that you as an investor will get out of it.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah. And the more you are clear and short, the better also you get response from the investor, whoever you talk with. Like also refining your pitch is really important, and not saying a lot of things in between that the person is not really interested to hear too much details, but like really interested to hear like what is the overall goal of this, what is the end of this. Yeah.
But
Thank you.
from your experience, it's enough to have a very well done pitch based on a real study of the market. This is enough to go to investor and speak with them.
Yeah, in the beginning, yes. Like I don't think you need to have too much things in the beginning, like because the first round is just to show the opportunity in the market, like that this is the opportunity there, and the market is big, and this is the solution that we have. We just need the first push in order to do the next things, and that you don't need much details. But once you go to a step where the investor tells you, okay, now I need to do a market study more broad, like more extensive, and I need to also give me more details. And so then you have to do this research, and also like build up like your sales plan and your revenue plan. How are you going to get revenue? These are all done estimations and based on research. So nobody will be like, this is you just have to make it realistic enough, based on some examples from other startups or other companies that are similar in the same field or the same what you are working on, and based on that, you do your estimations, because that's very important part. Because when the investor tells you where these numbers came from, you have the answer that the estimation came from another example that are similar to our situation, and they have done this, so we can also do it. Yeah. I have a one question that you mentioned that most of the students here are in the garage phase. So, is someone here has in a phase where they have already met their first investor, and talked with investor once about what they work, and maybe they can share their experience there? Or is someone here struggling to actually build their first MVP? Maybe
I
not
don't know.
in this stage.
Ima, I don't think you are starting speaking with the investor yet. No, not yet. I know Ali as well. Ali also from Egypt. He is he was actually the winner of the EIT
Jump starter.
startup. Yeah, jump startup.
Startup, yeah.
Jump startup. But I don't think, Ali, you already took this stage speaking with investors. No.
Yeah, we are preparing for this stage, doctor.
Okay, you are preparing. Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm
No,
happy to
I
hear
think
that.
the majority here is in still preparing their business plan and their pitch. So, but this is good. This is a very good message you give here, because the majority here are in this stage now. And you said that once you finish this stage, you can go to the investor and you can get money to support you and going on. So actually, this is our aim from the Seed Plus. We are hoping we now have like 40 colleagues, maybe 40 colleagues. This is like maybe 10 startup. So we are hoping by end of the program in May to have like 10 business plans that are ready or almost ready to go to the market.
That's really impressive, amazing, and I wish good luck to everyone. And I'm happy to see also other students from Egypt working on this. And yeah, good luck to you all.
Thank you, Mohamed.
And if you need anything, or someone wants to have a closure on something that they are working on, please feel free to approach me on LinkedIn. I'm very friendly, and I reply to messages. So yeah, don't worry about approaching.
Thank you very much, Mohamed.
Thank you.
Do you want to, Tamer, say the closing words for this session?
Yeah, so I would like to thank Mohammed very much for this embracing talk and presentation for us. It like really motivate us. And thanks Lotta for your organization and connecting to Mohammed, and to thank all of our colleagues here. Good news for all of our colleagues. So yesterday, Clouders I released our business model. We have a special business model which is called Earth Business Design. We are working on this business model since almost 3 years. We released it yesterday, and we will share it with you on the event that is planned in the 22nd of April. So please use the business model that you have now, which is regular business model. But in 22nd of April, you will get the new one, just to see the difference between the current one and the new one, and maybe you can adapt your business according to the new one. So this is a good news just to share it with you. Maybe in next week or so, I will share it with you just to have a look before we present it in the 22nd of April. And that's all for me.
Thank you.
you.
Have a fantastic evening. Thank you, everybody. Thank you,
Thank
Mohamed.
you.
And,
Yes.
Thanks, Mohammed.
Tamer.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for
Bye-bye.
having me, and have a great day. See you around.
Bye-bye.